So big news, everyone. Somebody actually made a movie about me. Yes, yours truly, me. It's not exactly a movie, but it's a 3-part series on YouTube, and each of them are about 30 minutes long. So that's about the length of a movie. So yeah, it's kind of like a movie, but it's a 3-part series. I can't believe someone actually decided to make 3 videos ranting about me. And I may be posting this video on my main channel, and if that's the case, then subscribe to my new reaction channel where I react to people reacting to my videos. So I'm going to react to all 3 parts of this series. If you want to see the other 2 parts of it, it'll be on my reaction channel. So the YouTuber who's done this, his name is Nick Is Not Green. That's his YouTube channel. The first video came out 2 months ago and I did watch it already. I'm going to be candid with you. If it's a video I have not watched before and it's my genuine reaction the first time, I'll let you know. But this one came out 2 months ago and I did watch it for the first time, I think maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago. So it's actually not that fresh in my mind. This is the video that made me want to start this channel. Well, actually there's been a few videos I've been talking about this for a while, but after seeing this one, I said, oh, for sure, I would like to now start my reaction channel. So let's go ahead and look at this video now.
You know what I love the most in this world? Inspirational videos. Most of the time, the stories that inspire you the most are ones that you can directly relate to. Maybe, for example, something like, Bully makes fun of new kid's name.
I don't know if he's being sarcastic about that, because a lot of kids actually have been bullied for their names, especially in school. I am one of them myself. My name constantly gets made fun of. When I was in school, there was a good amount of people who call me Smear. I'd be called Smear, you know? I've had my share of bullying on names. I'm sure a lot of kids can relate to it. That's why I got millions of views of video.
Sameer Bhavnani needs to be stopped. You may have seen his videos on channels like Cody Co, Memulous, or Rebel D, but there's so much more to uncover here. But for those who don't know, let's talk about who Sameer is. Sameer Bhavnani is a video producer and what I presume to be a director for multiple YouTube channels. The main one that most people talk about is a channel titled after his own name.
Okay, I had a beard on. I've been getting gray hair since I was a very young kid. Some people say it's wisdom, but you know, okay, it makes me look a little older. That doesn't mean I'm not a young filmmaker, okay? You know, I'm in my 30s. It's pretty young for a filmmaker, you know?
And he makes these inspirational, scripted, situational videos. If you've ever watched Darman, someone who my good friend Jarvis Johnson has been diving deep on for a while now, you'll understand where these kind of videos have come from.
They came from Jay Shetty and Prince EA, not necessarily all from Darman, but yeah, no, we forgot those guys.
Inspirational clickbait using easy to understand dialogue to tell a story that's going to reach a lot of people. And it does just that. These videos get a staggering amount of views. And even though on many of these channels, including Darman, you will stumble across many instances of dangerously spreading racist stereotypes and walking the line of what can even be considered inspirational.
Don't your parents feed you or something? All day long just to feed some kid whose parents probably don't work.
The people who watch these videos really could not care less about that. And people noticed how much of an audience people like Darman were getting because a lot of creators were soon to follow and try the exact same thing. Iterations of this inspirational clickbait genre spread across the internet, and Sameer Bhavnani must have seen the massive potential for money here because he jumped onto this genre. And he jumped on hard. Over a year ago, he started with the hard-hitting lessons of racist landlords and
Last year, that racist landlord video was 3 weeks ago. It says it on his video. Why is he saying last year? We're gonna dive into more about what he's saying, but let's watch what he has to say.
a lot more lessons about racism against black people that Sameer pretends to understand the experiences of. But as he began,
I do actually understand the experience of racism. I am Indian American and I have been discriminated against. Yeah.
But as he began to understand his audience a little bit more, his videos became more and more absurd. When I say absurd, I am massively under-exaggerating.
What are you doing, birthday elf?
Okay, the birthday elf, you know, is being creative again. Like I said, I am a filmmaker. I do want to touch on other genres, and you know, birthday elf, I want to see the popularity. If I can sway away from, you know, doing something more different and creative than the other channels are doing. I'm thinking of doing a musical soon too. I have some in my head, and we'll see if we get some time to do it.
So over these next 3 weeks, I want to dive deeper on not only who Sameer is, but the other channels that a lot of people don't know anything about. Sameer has 3 channels.
I have more than 3 channels, but I'm happy he's bringing up the top 3.
The first one being his disgusting, stereotypical clickbait high school video project abomination channel. But then we have another channel called To Catch a Cheater, which seems to be a reality show about partners who suspect that their partner's cheating, but in reality, it's a very poorly acted and scripted attempt at bizarre situations.
It is real. A lot of people say, okay, no, it's fake, this wouldn't happen, but it happens. It happened and it still happens. And Luis and I, we've talked about doing some new content for that channel actually, and we might have something really good for you guys soon.
Now the channel doesn't promote itself as connected to Sameer in any way, but it has it linked in his channel's featured section.
That's the promotion. In fact, my banner used to say creator to catch a cheater on it. I have no issues being linked to that channel. In fact, the gold plaque is right back there.
And a few months ago, he made one of his inspirational videos based off of To Catch a Cheater. And in the video, you can see the YouTube plaques on the wall behind the actor that says To Catch a Cheater on it.
Can you tell us why you named your dog Peach?
The way he says that you can see it, yeah, I showed it. It was intentional. It's a movie.
The final channel that he has is one called American Justice Warriors, and it's sort of a spin on To Catch a Cheater. It was also promoted as To Catch a Thief. And with this channel, Sameer is actually directly starring in a lot of these videos, and it's another horribly scripted and acted series pretending to be reality. Now, Sameer does have a fourth channel that I don't really want to dive any deeper into, but it is one that he made for his 3-month-old daughter. He promoted it at the end of one of his videos, and it's really bizarre.
And if you have time, my daughter created a channel. She's the youngest YouTuber on YouTube, only 3 months old. Her videos are going to be amazing. She hasn't created any yet, but they're going to be good, I guarantee it. So if you want, you can follow her channel. Link is in the description and in the comment section. She already has 1,000 subscribers and not even one video out. Isn't that amazing?
Since this kid can't even talk yet, the channel's pretty low on content, but I assure you that Sameer is counting down the days until he can monetize his child.
This is a guy who's talking about monetizing my life with everything else, who has a sponsor in front of his video and ads. And let me get into this life lesson for all of you. There is nothing wrong with making money. That being said, I don't need to monetize my child's life or whatever he's trying to say. I got into filmmaking back when I was 8 to 10 years old, well before YouTube even ever existed. My content was online well before YouTube ever was there. In fact, you can see it on newgrounds.com. You'll see videos that I've made. I love filmmaking. It's one of my passions and hobbies, and I have done everything there. I've been a cameraman on sets. I've definitely been an editor. I still do the camera work on my own shoots. I mean, the list goes on. I love them. So when I first had my very first child and daughter, I was very excited to make videos with her because she's so beautiful and cute, and I want to bring everyone else a smile like she brings me. Anything that gets monetized will go 100% to her. I don't need her money, and everything I do is for her. She already has an investment account I opened up and everything. And again, a life lesson to you all is there's nothing wrong with making money. Don't ever let anyone tell you that, especially someone who's also monetized your and making this video for money. If that's the case, then don't monetize your videos. Take your ads off right now. Give me your sponsors then. Don't, be hypocritical there, because you're doing this for money yourself.
So with that very long intro out of the way, this week we are going to be talking about Sameer's main channel and talk about the content that comes along with it. But before that, let's talk about today's sponsor.
Hit it. What is up, Connors? And welcome.
He just talked about making money and he puts a sponsor on it? Come on.
Many of you have heard of Sameer Bhavnani, and he probably does not need much of an introduction, but the amount of disrespectful and downright ableist, racist, sexist, and every other instance there is astounding, and it's not talked about enough. In this video right here, racist landlord uses gun on black guy. Sameer starts the video by telling the audience that they used fake guns in this video, which makes it kid friendly, I guess.
We used obvious fake guns in this video. Actually, I had left town and I had a crew film this one, and they didn't remove the orange tips. And so through editing, we were going through removing the orange tips, and we're like, you know what? That's a lot of work to put in there, and we have a deadline for these videos. So instead we said, you know what? Why don't we give this disclaimer to make the video look less cheesy?
I mean, they used fake guns in John Wick, but I don't really think those movies are kid friendly, so I'm not really sure why Sameer says this, besides for the fact that he doesn't want his video to get demonetized.
No, I mean, again, the video wouldn't have gotten demonetized if I removed the orange tips as well. It's again because we didn't want to go through the editing. We're releasing a story here. The focus shouldn't be the guns.
Now, Sameer very commonly uses the fact that some of the characters in his videos are very racist as an excuse to make racist comments and jokes through the character's mouth. Now, this is something that can be tasteful and work when it's in a film that has an impactful commentary on racism, but not so much when the only reason that the character is saying these things is for the sake of being a racist person.
First of all, there's a group of us that write these, and when I first time, I've never racial videos like this before. So when I actually had to write this requires some research and stuff. And these stories are also based off true stories. So we are literally using dialogue from security cameras and footage clips that are being said to people. So it's not like I wrote these from the top of my head or something. These are things taken from actual real life situations.
What do you think you're doing? Hands up.
I'm sorry, but I'm trying to get into...
Shut up. I know exactly what you're doing. You're a filthy black man trying to break into my...
I'd heavily argue that there's a better way to show your audience that a specific character is racist rather than the ways that Sameer does it.
What? Well, tell the way how it's done then. Because what you just said is there's a better way to show racism than showing your character's racist. What? What are you talking about?
Now, the story behind this video is that this man just bought this property and he was moving in today, but his key didn't work and it was early in the morning and he didn't want to wake up his property manager. So he tried to break in through the window using a clothes hanger.
He didn't really try to break in. He tried to open a window so he could unlock the door. It's his property. He's not breaking in.
Now, Sameer's writing, like many videos in this genre, are said to be super basic and direct, so the content's easy to understand for a wide audience of people, even if they don't understand English very well or they're a younger person. This is how Darman explained the uncanny natures of his videos to people who are skeptical of them. I think he first said this when Cody Ko talked to him.
Your audience, you know who your audience is. My audience is universal. So not everybody speaks English as their first language. Keep that in mind. And there's a big deaf audience. So we try to have things that are very visually compelling, not just rely on dialogue. And a lot of kids watch it.
And to me, I think that this is a blatant cop-out for lazy writing and capitalizing on stereotypes and racism. And these videos, at least for Sameer Bhavnani, are absolutely not okay for children to watch. So I'm really not sure what the goal is for his content. Well, I do know what the goal is. It's capitalizing on sexism, ableism, and racism for the sake of making money with outrage clickbait.
Again, he talks about making money, but you're also making money. You know, people judge these channels. They're like, oh, you're copying Darman, you're copying Darman. If somebody was out there today helping a homeless person, you copy that person to help more homeless people, that's a positive thing in this society. If you're spreading positive messages and all of our videos have positive messages, is that wrong? They are child friendly and they all do teach a positive moral. Darman is one of them, and there's a lot of other channels that do it.
Now, the logic of a dude who breaks into a house that he just bought because he's too afraid to wake up the property manager to help him out is just insane. Sameer ends this wholesome video by telling us about his Sameer Bhavnani app. He makes it clear that the app is family and kid friendly right after a video where a man repeatedly made racist comments towards Black and Asian people.
What are you doing? He's a black guy. He had a gun.
Yeah, but that guy got arrested. There was a lesson that was learned out of that. It's like saying, you know, a movie isn't PG because they can't have a bad guy in it and the bad guy can't lose. In this case, he's the antagonist and he learns a lesson.
Just dropped the Sameer Bhavnani app. You can download it now on the Google Play Store and the Apple App Store. This app is completely family friendly.
It is actually family friendly, kid friendly. You got a G rating on Google Play Store and Apple.
Now, of course, children should be exposed to the idea of racism when they're younger and learn how to be anti-racist while they grow up. But Sameer Bhavnani's videos are not the way to do that at all. Besides the absurdity of the scripts that Sameer writes, the fact that a non-black person is writing and directing this many videos about racism against black people and profiting massively off of it is really gross. He knows that these videos do well on his channel, and rather than talk about the racist experiences that I'm sure he's had personally, he decides to capitalize on black racism over and over again.
I've done Indian racism. Actually, I think my second video is about a girl being racist to an Indian guy, and there was a debate about preference and not.
In this video, racist Karen kidnaps 12-year-old girl for PlayStation 5.
And the actors themselves who are acting in these videos, they read the script sometimes and they either add to it and they even support the scripts, acting in them and the messages through them. Just because I'm not black doesn't mean I can't be against racism against black people.
This young girl winces when she learns that this woman's name is Karen.
Oh, hi.
You got yourself PlayStation 5?
Yeah, last one in stock.
What's your name a little ago?
Nancy. And yours?
Karen.
Oh dear.
And then Karen throws this girl in the trunk to kidnap her, even though you can clearly see that the trunk isn't isolated from the rest of the car.
Yeah, so that day, unfortunately, the actress's car broke down. She actually had a proper car with a proper trunk. The only other cars that we had was one of the crew members who also had an SUV which had access from the trunk, and then my car which also has access from the trunk. So we're like, oh, what do? We don't want to cancel filming now. I'm surprised a lot of comments didn't mention that out, but he mentioned it out. That's a good catch. You know, it's a movie. Try to ignore it. Hopefully you got the point.
The girl pulls out her phone to call her mom, and the lady finds her and then gives her some slaps that sound like full-on body punches.
Hello?
The mom luckily finds her daughter, and Sameer goes on to give his life lesson of the video, which is that this girl shouldn't go into a stranger's car no matter how convincing they may seem.
Nancy learned a valuable lesson that day, that she shouldn't go into vehicles with strangers, no matter how convincing they may seem.
Even though the girl resisted from the lady the whole entire time and then out of nowhere was just forced into this lady's trunk.
I mean, she's walking to her car in this scene. That's the reason why she got her in the parking lot, because she convinced her. That's the lesson. Don't be convinced, you know, to go into cars with strangers. They're not going to just give in easily.
So I'm not really sure how that's a lesson that she can learn, because she didn't make that mistake in the first place. Now, in this video titled "White Dad Vomits on Chinese Boss," we are shown an abusive dad who forces his kid to eat food.
Just stick it in your mouth and eat it, Eric. Eat it. Eat it.
First of all, okay, this one, Nick has a way of wording things. When they say an abusive dad forcing his kid to eat, that's not being abusive. A lot of parents deal with fussy kids and eating. I actually wrote this story based on a personal issue I had, not the vomiting. My wife and I have had these issues where I try to convince her to eat food that I like, and she tries to convince me to eat food she likes. And you know, I can relate with this issue because I'm shocked that there's certain stuff, KFC or something, she might not like. She loves KFC, but there's certain things that she doesn't like that I love eating, and I'm just shocked by it. But then I did one time go on a trip to China, and there was a lot of food there I didn't like that the locals loved. So that's what this story came brewed out of, because I realized that happens with a lot of people. There's a lot of ignorant people out there who think everyone needs to like what you like. And then until you're put in that situation where you're forced to do something you don't like, then you realize it, that you shouldn't force your habits on others. So the dad isn't anyways abusing the kid. He's trying to convince him, hey, eat this chicken. It's standard, yummy fried chicken. Most people like fried chicken. Later on in the story, he's been given food that he's not liking, and he realizes what he was putting his son through. It's a very good moral.
The dad's boss calls him and tells him that they have a meeting with the Yingmas.
Got a meeting with the Yingmas.
That's incredible. I thought they were booked.
But then later in the call, he just calls him Yingmas.
Yingmas is extremely particular about where and what he eats.
But then later, when the man actually shows up to the house, he's called Mr. Yingmas.
Hi, you must be Mr. Yingmas.
Besides the fact that Yingmas isn't a real name and it's just a racist fake Asian name that they came up with.
They also massively push.
Again, it's not being racist, and secondly, Yingmas, I believe, is a real name. I'm sure there's a Yingmas watching this video right now getting a bit offended by that, Nick.
The racist.
You can Google it, by the way. It's really a real name, Yingmas, all over the place. We want to keep the characters as fictitious as possible, so we're not, you know, obviously offending people who are actually named these names.
They also massively push the racist Asian stereotype that he has unusual etiquette and he eats gross food.
Again, nobody called the food gross. The dad found the food gross. And now, Nick, you're calling the food gross, which is actually saying something about you being a little racist. We made up the food in this also because, again, we didn't want to offend somebody's food. There might be, you know, I could have used kimchi. It's South Korean. I could have went full-on South Korean with the food.
They don't do that there. Okay, let's see what you got, Yingmas.
And the whole handshake thing is foreshadowing that this dad is ignorant to someone else's culture. Again, we kept the name and the food fake, so we're not offending someone's actual culture.
He even says in the video that the food is supposed to be spoiled and have fungus on it, and that's how they like to eat it.
Yes, that's how we eat it. Spoiled. The more spoiled, the more fine it is, like wine. It's covered in fungus. I insist, you guys, eat this.
And they shoot this video in the same exact room that Sameer's dumb YouTube plaques are in. Kind of takes you out of the video.
Why are they dumb YouTube plaques? I'm not gonna remove every plaque, you know. And anyways, yeah, this food is spoiled. Kimchi is spoiled cabbage. Sourdough bread is actually, to make sourdough bread, you gotta actually grow fungus on the bread. That's the way they make it. And wine itself, it's spoiled grapes. That's why I mentioned wine in this. to make that connection that people do eat spoiled food right here in America and take it for granted.
Now the man ends up vomiting all over Mr. Yangmas. And hey, he's fine with it, and he keeps eating because he's a Chinese person who eats disgusting food and he loves it.
That was his idea, actually, the actor's idea. It wasn't even there in the script. He actually said, would it be funny, guys, if I continue eating? It was his idea. We kind of all laughed and said, okay, if you want to. We filmed it. The editors decided to put it on. You know, I thought, okay, doing some light humor in a storytelling way, that's not bad. Hey, you know, Marvel movies, they got people dying in it, fighting the aliens and stuff, and they put light humor in it also. It helps cut the tension is what it does.
So then the man goes to the bathroom and he drinks bleach and then plunges his mouth multiple times with a toilet plunger, and then he takes a cold shower, as notated by the text, "cold shower," that pops up on the screen next to him.
Yeah, that's actually a tribute to Ace Ventura. A lot of people comment about it, and we've put in a lot of our videos.
He talks to his son about the dish later when they have a real heart-to-heart about how their experiences were similar, and he says it's a dish called Yoa Boa, and his son loves it because his Chinese friend has it at his house.
I don't think we said Chinese. We used the name Mijin, which is actually a Korean name. His friend Mijin has eats Yao Bao.
And so he begs his dad to keep around the fungi-infested food for him to eat.
Again, he's saying fungi-infested food is bad. There's a lot of American food that is made to get old before you eat it or whatever. Cheese, that's spoiled milk.
I think they called it Yao Bao.
Yo boa? I know what that is.
You do?
Yeah, I ate it at my Jin's house.
I did Mijin's house. That's a Korean name. Nobody specified an ethnicity in this except Nick.
Her mom makes it. It's so good. Oh my god, Dad, please don't throw it out. I like to eat some. It's supposed to be super healthy and full of protein and vitamins.
And that video has over 500,000 views and 96% likes. And with a lot of Sameer's videos, people comment as if the situation's real. It's very bizarre. I'm glad that Frank learned his lesson the hard way. What one person likes, someone else does not.
Yes, that's the message. That whoever commented this understood the message, Nick. That was the message.
I genuinely think that Sameer Bhavnani is one of the worst people on YouTube right now. J-Station faked the death of his girlfriend for views, and I'm starting to think that I understand him more than I understand Sameer. Now, I could talk about how disgusting his videos are for hours and hours, but I think we all understand the destruction that he brings to this platform with these videos that are getting millions of views. I mean, Sameer's channel has 290 million views on it, and it started like a year ago. He continues to grow and recognize that the absurdity of his videos is what drives people to watch and talk about his content. He doesn't care if he promotes racist and ableist stereotypes if he can cover it with the guise of a life lesson that you can teach to your kids. And that's what's so wrong about what Sameer does. He not only promotes these disgusting ideas, but he tries to play it off like he's the hero and he's the one showing the moral of the story to everybody at the end of every video, as if he's not the one who wrote these disgusting characters and the dialogue.
All antagonists are written by somebody. Doesn't make them bad. Tom Clancy writes about all those things, those attacks and espionage and stuff. Doesn't make him that.
With the unusually positive reception of these videos and the growing audience between Sameer's channels, I think it's safe to say that he's becoming more and more dangerous with every single view that he gets. But for right now, we're gonna stop there. Because next week I want to dive deeper into Sameer Bhavnani by looking into his next channel, To Catch a Cheater.
That was a good video. I enjoyed it a lot. I'm gonna drop it a like and leave a comment. I think I already left a comment actually. Anyways, I'm excited to see Nick do To Catch a Cheater. If you guys are excited to see me react to Nick doing To Catch a Cheater, then check out my other channel, Sameer Reacts. And if you're already on this channel, Sameer Reacts, then just go to the next video and watch it.